Sis and Tell, a whole lot of talk, a whole lot of nothing. Amanda does stand up, Alison's on TV, and when they hop on the phone, you already know it's the place you wanna be. Sis and Tell, the podcast that's so sweet. Oh, Sis and Tell, Sis and Tell, a whole lot of talk about, a whole lot of nothing. Sis and Tell.
Hey, Allie.
Hey, man, what's going on?
So something happened at one of my kids during school that I found out about later.
Okay.
And I'm just going to go ahead and say that it was Murray that did this.
Thank goodness. I don't like the guessing game. I'm never good at it.
Just to paint the picture. And he could have gotten in like major trouble for this mix-up. Thank God he did not. And the mix-up was Yiddish words. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
He referenced.
Is this in class or just socially?
Well, so this is what happened.
And Murray, let's set the stage. Murray's
16.
He's a sophomore. Okay.
Yeah. And he's the size of an adult. Like, he's not one of those 16-year-olds that looks like a little boy. Like, he looks like a man, which is neither here nor there. But he's very outgoing, gregarious. So he loves being Jewish, right? But anyways, he was home with me, and he said something like the table was dirty, and he goes, do you want me to clean? There's a little schmuck on the table. Do you want me to clean it up?
Oh, no.
And I go,
oh, no.
I go, I'm like, what? And he goes, there's some schmuck on the table. Do you want me to clean it up? And I was like, Murray, I think you mean schmutz, not schmuck. And he goes, what? And I go, schmuck means penis.
Right.
I go, schmutz means like crap or stuff,
right.
Debris.
They both start with the schma, but end very differently.
And he goes, oh, no. I go, have you been using this wrong for a while? He goes,
oh, no.
He goes, like all day today. So thank God we're in the South where a lot of people just aren't familiar with. There's some like Yiddish words that are just so much ingrained into our vernacular that people don't even know it's Yiddish, right?
Right.
And I do think schmuck is one of those words, but they don't necessarily know what that means.
Right. They think schmuck is more like putz, but putz is the G-rated version of that. Right. I should be bleeping out schmuck technically because it is a pretty bad word, but for purposes of translation, I'll keep it in.
But like, saying you got a little schmuck on your face. I'm like, please tell me all the reference points that you made today in school. I was so surprised I did not get a call home, because I did get a call home from one of his teachers. He got into my car, and I see the phone ring, and I'm opening it up, and I answer it, and the teacher's like, Murray left my class early today, and I was very disappointed. He left before the bell rang. And I go, well, Murray's in my car right now, and Murray's yelling, I had to go to the bathroom.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And then I'm like in between, and she's like, there was a time to go to the bathroom with everyone. He went 4 times, and he's like, I drank a lot of water. I was like, you couldn't have waited 5 minutes before the bell, So anyway.
That's the thing about kids. When they have to go,
they have to go.
And when they want to eat, they eat.
Right. And I'm like, how do I? And he's like, look, if I don't have enough water, I get a headache. It makes me not feel good. I drink a ton of water. I go, but you went to the bathroom 4 times in an hour. That's a lot. I go, this is why we dehydrate our children before road trips. Specifically Murray. He's like, I'm going to chug this seltzer. I'm like, no, you will not. Yeah. We are going to drive 6 hours, and you're going to eat all the snacks that are in the car. And if you're hungry, you'll eat the snack that fell on the floorboard. We are not peeing.
Exactly.
We're going to go.
Did I ever tell you the story when the boys, they must have been, like 5, 3, and 1. And I was driving to Birmingham by myself without Alan. And so I had a game plan because it is like 2 hours without traffic, door to door from my house to mom and dad's in Birmingham. And I thought, okay, I want to make it there without stopping, because if I do have to stop for them to go to the bathroom, then I've got Arthur
gonna
who's
take
5.
30
Yeah.
minutes.
Just to even get out of the car. I've got to
Yeah.
carry Levi. I've got to hold Abe's hand. I got to wrangle Arthur. Like, it was just too much to do in a gross bathroom. So I said, same thing. If I just withhold snacks and water, then they won't have to pee for 2 hours and we'll make it there. So we get in the car. We are not a mile from the house, and Arthur goes, "Okay, I'd like a juice box, please. Can you pass it?" I'm like, "Yeah,
No.
buddy, I didn't. Oh, sorry, darn, I didn't pack any juice boxes." He goes, "Oh, that's okay, mommy. Just pass me some crackers, please." And I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't pack
You really
nothing.
didn't? Not even
No."
food?
I said, no, there's no crackers either." And he acted like I had just like given him like the worst news in his life. And probably for a 5-year-old, that is the worst news. He says, "Do you mean to tell me there will be no food or drink for this entire car ride for me or the brothers?"
You're like the flight attendant.
The whole ride. And when he put it that way so dramatically, I'm like, "Yes, that's what I'm here to tell you." He goes, "There is no way we will ever be able to survive this 2-hour trip without any nourishment." I mean, he is freaking out. So 20 minutes outside of Chattanooga, we're probably still in Chattanooga technically, I have to stop at the gas station and do exactly what I didn't want to do. So I have to get Levi out of his car seat and Abe out of his car seat and Arthur out of his booster. And we're all walking in, and now I let them all pick out random snacks, which is also the worst case, right? They see the plethora of options that they typically never see.
Junk food.
Yeah. So they all at least grabbed like goldfish, and then they all grabbed like a little bottled water or something.
Goldfish are healthy. They're not.
They're not healthy.
I don't know what Pepperidge Farm has done to us to make us think that those are healthy snacks.
Because they're shaped like something that feels healthy and innocuous, right?
They're seafood.
Right, it's fish. Look, fish are healthy. Little fish crackers.
There's some omega-3 in it. There's not.
So they grab all this, and the reason I know that they chose goldfish is because I finally, 30 minutes later, get them back. Because, of course, Arthur had to go to the bathroom. One of them had to go to the bathroom while we're there. You see a bathroom sign, it automatically is like Pavlov's response. So then I get them back in the car, and I buckle them all up, and then Levi's like, crackers. I was like, "Here," and he goes, I do it. I was like,
no.
Okay, which was rookie mistake number 12. So I hand him the mini bag. I hand him the mini bag of goldfish crackers. He opens it up. They burst everywhere, all over the car, all over him, in the cracks by his legs, in the car seat, whatever.
And then it's itchy.
And,
no.
And he just looks down, and I was like, "Well, they're easy to get now." Now you have a tray of goldfish. And of course, being the third born, he didn't even cry or anything. He goes, "Okay."
Right.
So he literally just ate whatever goldfish he could reach from his lap or on the seat. And he was fine. And then I cleaned the car later.
That's
but
cute.
That's the first and last time I ever didn't bring snacks on any car trip, because it turned out far worse than any planning to make it easier on me could have ever been. So,
oh God, the packing of the snacks is an entire ordeal that I'm in charge of, right? And the times that I put the kids in charge, and they're like grown adults at this point. I mean,
Right.
they're not there, but I'm like,
they're pretty self-sufficient.
I'm like, you better bring your own snacks. You are in charge of your own snacks. And I tried that last time we went on a car trip, and it did not work out well. But I had packed side snacks just in case. And I yelled at them, and I was like, "Yeah, I said to bring your own snacks, but here you go. Here's what I packed.
But I happen to have an egg in my purse here.
Here's
Eat
everything
it."
you need." So you brought up like they had food that they don't usually have. And that was my strategy when only a few times did we actually have to go on a plane with all 3 kids. But when we did, we flew with all 3 of them to Phoenix, which is far with that many kids. And I packed food they had never had before. Like, we had not let them have access to. And also like things that would keep their mouths busy. Because my children are loud. Like I got really chewy things. I got gum. I got
smart.
chewy granola bars.
Chewy. Yeah.
Things that would like keep them busy. And do you know about this trip to Phoenix? I don't know if tell you. Have I talked about what happened to me when we were there?
Try me
on this podcast. So, where's Aaron's grandmother, who lived to be 101? She lived in this complex called the Biltmore, and there were homes on this complex, but it was also a resort.
Yes,
with
everybody,
pools
people
and a
know the
hotel.
Biltmore. It's very famous.
So God, Arizona smells so good. It smells like citrus. It is. It smells delicious. And so we stayed.
It smells like sun and happiness.
So Oscar and Ruby were about 3. Murray was about 6. We were staying at the Biltmore Hotel. It was morning time. Aaron left to go get coffee, which sometimes is an ordeal. Like there was like a Starbucks or some sort of coffee shop in the bottom. He went to go get me and him coffee. It was probably gonna, it probably took him about 20 minutes to get everything. I'm sure he was looking for a newspaper, whatever happens in a lobby when
whatever
like,
distractions are there for a grown man.
Like, I got to get away from these 3 children for a second. So I go into the bathroom and my bathing suit's on the floor, and I decide to pick it up and hang it up. And then all of a sudden I feel a bolt of electricity go through my finger.
What?
Right? And I grab my finger and I'm like, what just happened? And I slammed the door shut and ran out. And I was like, I think I may have just gotten stung by a scorpion.
What?
And I was like, I don't know what a scorpion feels like. So of course the most natural thing for me to do is go onto Facebook. So I am and crowdsource what just happened. So I'm holding on to my finger because I'm worried. I don't want like the poison or whatever.
But you have not identified the scorpion as a scorpion.
No, I haven't even seen anything, but something didn't feel
But based on that one feeling,
yes,
you just decide to Google scorpion bites.
No, I didn't Google it. I went onto Facebook and I told everyone what happened and the sensation I was feeling, and I said, I think I may. Look, I was by myself and I did not want to shake out my bathing suit with me and 3 kids, no Aaron, and I didn't know what a scorpion sting was going to do to me. So I went onto Facebook to crowdsource it. He didn't have his phone on him, or I would have called him and been like, you need to come up here. So I crowdsourced it, and pretty much immediately Lisa Hess, who we grew up with, who lives in Phoenix, she messaged me privately and she goes, you got stung by a scorpion that happened to me. And she got stung where the sun don't shine, but like the front, she got stung on one of her boobs, and she's like, I was breastfeeding. She said she had, she's like, what is this gonna poison my child? Because she was like breastfeeding, not at the time, and not at the time she got stung, but so then Aaron came up, and I was like still holding my finger, thinking I could keep the poison from going into the rest of my
because that's
arm.
how it works, yeah.
And I didn't know. I was like, and so he shook out my bathing suit, and the scorpion fell out of it.
Oh my gosh.
And so then he smashed it with the metal trash can, and he called the front desk, and they sent up maintenance to just double check. They have this thing they use. It's like a black light to look to see if there's any trails. And we were on like this, and we were on the 2nd or 3rd floor. So they felt bad. They sent up chocolates, and I and I called poison control. I called poison control to be like, what do I do? And it goes to Georgia because I have the 404 area code, and they're like, whoa, our scorpions are different than the Arizona scorpions. We need to transfer you to Arizona poison control. So they transfer me over, and they're like, so here's the thing. It's not actually poison. It's more of, what is it? It's not like there's not venom. It affects your neurological. It's like a neurological experience, not experience, but effect, right? And they said, they're like, you don't need to go to the emergency room. If you were a kid, we would send you to the emergency room.
Oh, wow.
Said you'll feel this sensation. It'll probably last all day. My hand was like super tingly and numb and felt really weird. And they said, you may get the sensation that you cannot breathe, but don't worry.
But don't go to the emergency room.
Don't worry. You can breathe. It's just a sensation. And I was like, all right. So then we left and went to the zoo. And the entire time I'm like, am I okay? And I was so afraid. I held onto my finger for like 3 hours, and I finally had to let it go. And that of course didn't do anything. So eventually poison control called back to check on me, which I thought was very nice. And I was fine, but it lasted pretty much all day. My hand was like numb, and it was crazy.
So here's where I'm stuck. That if I had gotten stung by something that I would have presumed to be a scorpion, that was a good call on your end, a good instinct. The first thing I would do is verify said scorpion was actually in the bathing suit. And not only identify it, but kill it, considering I'm with 3 young children in my hotel room.
No, I left it in the bathroom. I closed the door.
I understand, but it's
was a
not
big-
like it can't crawl out.
It wasn't going to come and attack me.
Well,
it's not
no,
like an
but
attack scorpion.
I know, but like it could, you don't know how fast they could go. It could have walked away. You could have
Yes.
lost it.
Okay.
It could have gone into whatever crevice it came out of.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, but the kids, we had 2 rooms. They were in another room,
Yeah.
right? They had their own bathroom, right? And I told them to stay in there, right? I didn't think it was going to crawl out from under my bathing suit, go under the door, and start
I did.
attacking me
I do.
and my
That's
children.
what I would have thought.
I don't know what Stephen King novel you've read, but it's not.
A lot. And
Like-
yes, that's what happens.
That's like in Arachnids, right?
Oh,
John
gosh.
Goodman was going to show up as like the exterminator. And he in that? And he was
I
in
have
it.
no idea.
Arachnophobia. Arachnophobia. He's been
That
in
is
everything.
so funny.
Oh, John
Oh my
Goodman.
goodness. Yes.
So yeah.
No joke. No joke. Okay, so you know that I'm in the middle of the bat mitzvah season for the show I do for PBS.
Mazel tov. I mean, you should, at the end, when it wraps, you should have a bat mitzvah party
I
for
know.
it.
Did you say it? Someone said, maybe Levi said it. He goes, according to PBS, your show is an adult. 13 seasons for those who aren't catching the joke. But we have a few more episodes that we're wrapping up, and I just got some very exciting news that I'm about to interview a friend of mine who lives in Chattanooga, and his name is Dylan Cussman, and you would know him best because he was in Dead Poets Society.
Ah, carpe diem.
Oh, Captain, my Captain. And yes, and he's just a great guy. I don't even remember how we initially connected. He lived in he moved here probably around 2008. Then he moved back to LA, and then he moved back to Chattanooga.
He was one of the students, and
he was one of the students. So there was like a pod of 7 of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Ethan Hawke, of course, was probably the most famous that we remember. And you would recognize all their faces, and a lot have gone on to do great things.
Loved Ethan Hawke. Reality Bites.
Reality
I have to say,
Bites, yeah.
did it for me. He gave me feelings, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah. He's remarried now, but he was married to Uma Thurman.
Do you know he lived in the same They lived in the same building as Eli Evans, Mommy's friend.
Oh my gosh!
And one time when I was in New York, I went to that apartment, and I was like, "How long can I stay on this elevator?"
To see if he'll show up.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
I was like, "Oh, can you imagine being in an elevator with Ethan Hawke?" I
know,
think
like-
I would blush.
Right. I think,
blushing.
the elevator's broken. I'm sorry,
right,
we're going to have to stay here for a few
sorry.
days. Okay, so back to Dylan. I know, poor Dylan. It probably always turns to
Sorry, Dylan.
Ethan Hawke. So, I mean, I think when I look back, it really, Dead Poet Society is one of my all-time favorite movies. If I really had to think about it, I get that question, you get that sometimes when you're in conversation, what's your favorite movie? And Breakfast Club is up there, Willy Wonka, but really when I think about it, Dead Poet Society has got to be one of the
was
classics. I made the
incredible.
boys watch it, and I think Arthur might have watched it twice. Arthur was like, it is life-changing, and it really is.
That's a good one to show my kids.
It's so good. There's just so many life lessons that are still pretty
and Robin Williams, that was such a great
Yes.
role. It's
Yes.
because he's endearing and funny, and then the dramatic aspect to that role. I love it when comedians are in dramatic roles like that.
Yeah.
They're always the
He's
best.
so good. And Robin Williams of blessed memory. But I was going to say the lessons are meaningful and they're timeless, right? Even today, they have an impact, I think, on our kids. So anyway, so Dylan was in this, and he's done great things since. He's been in a bunch of movies. I was watching on the big back when I used to watch movies on the big screen. I remember watching Jack Reacher, and there's a scene. Dylan's in the scene with Tom Cruise. I'm like screaming in the thing. I was like, "There's Dylan! Hey Dylan!
Tell me his last name again.
Cussman, Kussman, and he's got a band, and he's done like these webisodes and a web series, and he directs, he's done commercial. He's really like an incredibly talented actor. Yes, as soon as you see him,
so many things.
he's been in so many things.
He's got red hair. He's the one with red hair.
He's got red hair. There was another
Yes.
one who had red hair. Al had red hair too, one of the other actors.
But he is
he's very
been in-
identifiable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, he's been in so many things.
Yeah. So
This
anyway,
guy.
so Dylan and I connected years ago, and we've just been in contact ever since. And so when we were doing our wish list, his name had come up, and of course now we secured him, and I'm so excited. So I know Dylan, right? It's like anybody. I know him, but I don't really know like deep down his story. So I like to do a lot of research before I talk to people, because I really want to understand sort of the whole landscape, and I really want to avoid questions where I may not really know where those answers are going to lead.
But also you're good at avoiding the questions that everyone always asks.
I try to. Well, some of it you have to set some groundwork, but some of it is really, I'm just this curiosity, but I want to understand where my curiosity should take me. So I start, of course, going down the internet rabbit holes of, with the IMDb and Wikipedia and interviews and things like that. And I land on what I can only tell you is a gold mine, which is, I may have to go watch it 10 times. So I think the movie must have come out like they were filming in 1989, and I think
Dead Poet Society. Yeah.
So, and I was so drawn to the film then, and then equally, if not more, drawn to it now, because I realized that they're all my age. Like all these characters, there's probably one actor who was a little bit older, but the rest of them were all born in like 1970 or 1971, and I was born in 1970. So I feel like that I really could relate to them, because they were all, it was reflecting my generation. And I started looking at some of the videos that he had. And so Dylan posted a series of videos, there's only 2 or 3, where 5 of the 7, so there are 7 dead poets, right? If you've seen the film, there are 7 teenagers who are in what they call the Dead Poet Society. So they call them, the poets. And 5 in real life, 5 of those 7 got called to audition for a part in a movie called Dad, which was with Jack Lemmon and I think Ted Danson. And so Dylan is filming what the video is. It's like a 7-minute video of Dylan filming him and his friend Al, who were not auditioning, but they went along for the ride. And with the other 5 guys, their auditions, and they go to one of the guys' apartments, they go to the audition, they go to a diner afterwards and like have dinner. It's literally like watching one of our friends who had their dad's video camera, right, from 1980, and was like, "Can I borrow this? I want to just do a quick movie." And I just can't tell you, it is pure gold. It made me so happy. All I want to do is like sit there with Dylan with a box of popcorn and be like, "Oh yeah, let's watch this." This is the best video you've ever starred in.
I wonder what compelled him to record it. And then, I mean, it's so like our kids are capturing a lot of content right now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Everything's on camera. But back then, that wasn't normal unless you were Stuart Goldstein, our brother.
Exactly. It was so Stuart.
He was documenting everything, and as was our dad, who was doing it in like overabundance, right?
Yeah.
We're like, put the camera down. The only time he put the camera down is when he would hand it to you, so he would get on camera, so people would know he was actually there.
Exactly.
But that sounds like a slice of Americana right there too, to capture do you know the other actors, and do we know them, like the other poets besides Ethan Hawke?
You would definitely know if you saw them. Some of them have gone on to do different things.
Yeah.
Let me pull this up.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ethan Hawke is a obvious one. Mm-hmm. Bobby Leonard, Robert Sean Leonard, who was the one who played Neil Perry, who's the one who committed suicide in the film. Sorry, spoiler alerts. Also, now who played Knox Overstreet, a guy named Josh Charles, who, if you saw him, he was in, what was it, like The Good Wife? Oh gosh, he was in so many things. Mm-hmm. And he's like that.
Oh yeah.
Yes, remember him?
But he was also like a heartthrob in the 80s.
Yes.
I feel like. What was he in? What was there? Some movie.
He was in Sports Night. I don't know if you ever saw that, which was so good. He was the husband in The Good Wife. And then I think he's just been in a whole bunch of other stuff. He's been in all these films and all these television shows where you see him and you're like, "Oh, I totally know him." Like when these guys all show up in a Law and Order episode, you're like, "Oh, I know that guy." A few of them that you probably don't know, Al, I don't know how to pronounce it, Ruggiero, he's done some bit stuff. Gail Hansen's sort of off the radar. Some of they're just like, when you see them though, it is like especially because he captured this. Yeah, like the video I think was shot, again in like 1989, and then was posted. It wasn't posted until 2014. So anyway, I just when I stumbled upon that, it brought me so much joy, and I'm just so excited to talk to him. And
does he still keep in touch with Ethan Hawke? Are you going to ask that? You're not going to ask that, are you?
Well, I mean, I'd like to know if he keeps in touch with those guys. They felt like such a tribe, and you bond with those people. I have to believe that, in some level they've maybe kept in touch, but Dylan's really he's such a confident, loving, just spirited guy. His wife Amy's amazing. They're just we're lucky that they chose Chattanooga as their home, and I'm excited to kind of go down that path. I'm more excited that now I have that video saved on my notes, and I can go watch it anytime and pretend I know them.
You're like stalking him. That's
Totally.
what you have to do.
Totally.
You have to stalk your.
It's part of my job.
Yes,
I have to. I'm a professional stalker. They call me an interviewer, but I'm really a professional stalker.
So that being said, also Allison's starting a new service where if you're dating someone and you need to know all about them, she can stalk them for you.
Oh yeah. I'm happy to. I'm happy to go. I'm happy to go down that. I'm not as good at that because I get kind of like sidetracked on other things I find. But so in other news, I've been wanting to ask you. I have a great analogy, and I want to know if you find it true too. That I just realized the other day. Speaking with our children, and I want to say specifically, communicating with our children via text is the modern day equivalent of trying to understand the vanity plates on the highway or on the road. I don't know about your kids, but Abe especially, he only texts in these acronyms. And a lot of them I know, and a lot of them I have no idea. So I have to be like, what does that mean? Like everything is IK, IDK, like LOL is sort of this. I don't even think the young generation uses LOL anymore because I think our generation, I'm going to throw you in there, has really ruined it for them. Yeah. Like I think like as soon as like people 40 and over say like, oh, LOL, like in real life though, when you're only supposed to like, it's supposed to be relegated to like a text. They're like, nobody uses LOL anymore. But so I wrote back to Abe last night, and I'm going to see if you can decipher this. I was really proud of myself, but apparently I wasn't so clever. So he's writing back and forth, and I'm saying, when do you want me to book this? He's coming home, and then I have to book a flight for him, and he doesn't know when. I said, okay. I said, well, you have to let me know. And he wrote back, IK.
I know.
And then I wrote back, okay. But then I wrote back, you ready? LMKWYD.
Let me know what you would like to do.
Okay. So he immediately said, okay. And I said, you understood that? Because in actuality, I thought I was being really clever. I wrote back, let me know when you decide.
Oh, yeah.
But apparently WYD is what you're doing. It's also that. And it translated that way equally because I was so shocked. He understood it. And then I said it to Levi's friends. I said, do you know what this means? And I read off that 6-digit code. and they go, yeah, let me know what you're going to do. And I was like, no, well, it's when you decide, but same idea. I go, how'd you know? They go, well, those are two common things, right? You just took 2 3-letter codes and you put them together.
LMK is
LMK. I figured out.
Do you know what NGL means?
No golfer loses.
No.
What?
Not gonna lie.
Oh, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Did we discuss the POS?
Piece of shit.
No. You can't say that.
Well, bleep it. IMHO.
In my humble opinion. No, POS is apparently parent over shoulder. Meaning don't type something because they're watching.
Right.
Yeah.
So my kids I do understand the acronyms, but my kids have a whole set of vocabulary that I understand, but it's so ridiculous. And I want to know, like, okay, so. Oh,
I know, because I've been privy to this too.
Like, so this is another, you may need to bleep this one, but Murray says, dead ass. Do you know what that means?
Is that 2 words? Dead and.
It's kind of like one word.
Okay.
Like dumbass, but dead ass.
No. What does that
mean? It means like, are you telling the truth?
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then how about bet?
Oh, bet. If I hear bet one more time.
Yeah.
Bet and bruh.
Yeah.
Arthur writes me. He goes, bruh. I'm like, I'm not your bruh. Okay. I'm your muh.
much better than being called pimp, because that's what Murray calls me.
That's horrible.
Or birth giver 3000, like I'm
my
a
gosh.
robot.
Yeah,
that has
you are
given
kind of a
birth to
robot.
him.
Here's the other things Abe and his friends told me. Fire. That's so fire.
Oh, yeah, that's old.
Oh, sorry. Gas.
I don't know that one.
Gas.
That's a gas.
That's so gas.
Like,
oh, if it's really good, that's
I
so
wonder if
gas. Gas is like
I
fire.
don't know that one.
Although gas makes a fire bigger. But, if it's really good, it's dummy gas.
But also, that feels like it's derived from like the 1950s or 60s. That's a gas. Right? Right? That's probably where it came from.
I'm sure it did. They think they're like making up new words, and they're just recycling.
No dip.
No dip.
It's kind of like no duh.
Oh God.
That's the best analogy I can give.
See, I think we've come full circle. And I think all these words we're saying is the equivalent of Murray using schmuck instead of schmutz.
Right.
And I know Abe's going to call and be like, "You shouldn't have said that. That's not what it means."
Well, I'm
Sorry.
going to end with an acronym from the 80s, which is LYLAS.
Love you like a sister.
That's right.
That one I know. That one I know.
Well, everyone, KIT, keep in touch with Sis Tell by subscribing so you can get automatic downloads. Thanks for listening to the latest episode. Share us with your friends. Share us with your family. Share us with your foes.
As always, this has been Amanda and Alison with a whole lot of talk about a whole lot of nothing. We'll catch you next time.